Okay, guys, are you ready for the read aloud? I am. Yes. I'm ready. Good. Chapter 13, The Typewriter. He woke up in darkness. His heart was beating very fast. Something had happened. What was it? He couldn't think. He was too hungry to think. He sat up and looked around the room. He was in bed, and Flora's feet were in his face. She was snoring. He could see the outline of her round head. He loved that head. But man, was he hungry. The door to the bedroom was open. Ulysses got off the pillow and went out of the room. He crept along the dark hallway. He went down the stairs and past the little shepherdess. The house was dark, but there was light on in the kitchen. The kitchen! That was exactly where he needed to be. He put his nose up. He sniffed. He smelled something cheesy, wonderful. He ran through the living room and the dining room and into the kitchen. He climbed up on the counter, and there it was, a lone cheese puff perched on the edge of a red Formica countertop. He ate it. It was delicious. Maybe there were more cheese puffs. He opened a cabinet, and yes, there was a big bag with the beautiful word Cheesemania written in golden script on the front of it. He ate until the bag was empty. And he burped softly, gratefully. And he looked around the kitchen. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Better be careful, Ulysses. What's happening? In the darkened kitchen, the unassuming squirrel worked slowly. His whiskers trembled. His heart sang. Was he fighting evil? Who could say? Chapter 14, Squirtle. Flora Belle Buckman, get down here right now. Don't call me Flora Belle, Flora muttered. She opened her eyes. The room was bright with sunlight. She had been dreaming something wonderful. What was it? She had been dreaming about a squirrel. In her dream, he was flying with his legs straight out in front of him and his tail straight out behind him. He was a squirrel on his way to save someone. He looked supremely, magnificently heroic. Flora sat up and looked down at her feet. There was Ulysses sleeping on the pillow, and he did look heroic. In fact, he was glowing, just like Incandesto, except oranger. He was extremely orange. What the heck? Said Flora. She leaned over Ulysses and reached out a finger to touch his ear. She held the finger up to the light. Cheese! He was covered in cheese dust. Uh-oh, said Flora. Flora! Her mother shouted. I'm not kidding! Get down here right now! Flora went down the stairs and past Marianne, whose cheeks were glowing a healthy and disgusting pink. Remember Marianne, the lamp shepherdess? You stupid lamp, said Flora. Oh man, Flora really hates the lamp. No! Shouted Flora's mother. Flora broke into a trot. She found her mother standing in the kitchen in her bathrobe, staring at the typewriter. What's this? Her mother said. She pointed at the typewriter. That's your typewriter, said Flora. She knew that her mother was absent-minded and preoccupied, but this was ridiculous. How could she not recognize her own typewriter? I know it's my typewriter, said her mother. I'm talking about the piece of paper in it. I'm talking about the words on the paper. Flora leaned forward. She squinted. She tried to make sense of the word typed on the top of the page. Squirtle. Squirtle, said Flora out loud. She felt a surge of delight at the zippy idiocy of the word. It was almost as good a word as tootie. Keep reading, said her mother. Squirtle, said Flora again. I am Ulysses, born anew. Do you think that's funny? Said her mother. Not really, said Flora. Her heart was beating very fast in her chest. She felt dizzy. I have told you to leave this typewriter alone, said her mother. I didn't, said Flora. What goes on here is serious business, said her mother. I'm a professional writer. I am under a deadline for this novel. There is no time for hijinks. Plus, you ate the whole bag of cheese puffs. I did not, said Flora. Her mother pointed at the empty Cheese-O-Mania bag on the counter, and she pointed at the typewriter. Flora's mother liked to point at things. You left cheese dust all over the typewriter. That is disrespectful. And you simply cannot eat a whole bag of cheese puffs. It's not healthy. You'll become stout. I didn't, said Flora. But then another wave of dizziness came over her. The squirrel could type. Wholly unanticipated occurrences. I'm sorry, said Flora in a small voice. Well, said her mother. She raised her fingers. She was obviously getting ready to point at something again. Fortunately, the doorbell rang. Wonder who it is. I think it's neighbor lady. Who do you think it is? Oh, we'll have to wait till tomorrow. Oh. Okay, so today's question about our reading is, why do you think that Ulysses, when he woke up, so he was hungry, why do you think that he went to the kitchen and he got food, but then why did he type on the mom's typewriter? Why do you think he was excited to do that? So why do you think he chose to do that? And then, so write down your answer. You can pause the video. So why did he type on the typewriter? Okay. Second question is why do you think he wrote what he did? So he wrote, Squirtle, I am Ulysses, born anew. Okay, so what do you think that means? Squirtle, I am Ulysses, born anew. So what do you think that means? Like, who is Squirtle? Okay, and how was he born anew? So why did he type that? So you could start your sentence by saying, I think Ulysses typed Squirtle, I am Ulysses, born anew, because... Why do you think he chose to write that out of anything that he could write? I mean, I don't know why he didn't write, oh my gosh, I love cheese puffs, because he ate so many. So why did he choose to write that instead of something else? Okay, so you can go ahead and pause the video and answer the question. I have one more question for you after this. Okay, so the next question is, who do you think, and we kind of did see, because I turned the page, I didn't realize it was going to be a cliffhanger. Who do you think is at the door? And what do they want? Okay, so who do you think rang the doorbell during the argument? And what does that person that rang the doorbell, what do you think they want? You could say that I think the person that rang the doorbell is going to be a new character. If you think that it's going to be a new character that we haven't met yet, then you could write who that character would be. You can also be creative with this too. Like, maybe you think that the person coming to the door is like a giant squirrel or something. So you could make up a fun story if you would like around that, and I would love to hear that. Okay, looking forward to your answers.